Sea Limited just released their latest quarterly figures, a pretty solid quarter, especially from a profitability standpoint, and so at the time of making this video, the stock is up close to 6%. It has had a tremendous year, a complete turnaround from the company standpoint and from the stock as well. Stock is up now over 140% year to date. If you look at the last 3 years, zoom out a little bit, you're going to see the big difference, right? We're still down 70% in the last 3 years. But of course, since those lows here where the stock was down close to 90%, well, we've seen a huge turnaround. Now, currently, this company will have a market cap close to $60 billion and a forward PE of 34.2 times in the next 12 months. This company is still expected to grow quite quickly. If you look at the analyst estimates here for fiscal 2024, sales growth of around 22.6%, EPS growing 146% year over year. In fiscal year 2025, sales growth of 15.8% year over year, and EPS growing 77.7% year over year. Moving to fiscal 2026, we see sales growth slowing down, 13.3% year over year growth, and then EPS still growing above 30%. So definitely the growth is coming from the bottom line here. This company continues to grow, but there is definitely more focus on the profitability profile. If we look at the current average analyst price targets, it's basically at the price we're at right now. So we're flat here. There are 33 analysts covering this company. 22 have a buy rating, 6 have a strong buy, 4 a hold, and only 1 has a sell rating. So what exactly has happened this quarter? Let's go over all of those numbers. We're also going to cover Grab. They reported on Monday after the market closed. So that will probably be the next one, or maybe Shopify. Anyways, all of those videos will be released today. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Trying to reach 60,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that red button. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later on, but hopefully you won't. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. All right, so as always, let's start with a great overview here from Consensus Gurus on X, basically showing us the actual numbers compared to what the market was expecting. So you can see here a clear beat across the board with small misses. So we've got a miss by 20% actually for EBITDA on the e-commerce side of things. And then with regards to digital entertainment, we've got small misses for the quarterly active users and quarterly paying users. I'll touch on that later in this video. Let's start with some comments from the CEO here. I'm happy to report that it has been another solid quarter. We are seeing high growth across all 3 businesses. Referring to the growth of our 3 businesses, Shopee is on track to deliver our full year guidance of mid-20s year-on-year GMV growth. SeaMoney's loan book grew by over 70% year on year this quarter, while maintaining a stable NPL ratio. And for Garena, we now expect Free Fire full year bookings to grow over 30% year on year. On profitability, he said, I'm very proud that we also improved our profitability while getting back to high growth. This quarter, Shopee achieved positive adjusted EBITDA in both Asia and Brazil. As we continue to focus on delivering growth, we expect Shopee to remain profitable going forward. And so what are we getting here? A high growth company that becomes more and more profitable. E-commerce GAAP revenue increased 42.6% year over year and 12.8% quarter over quarter. Digital financial services increased 73.2% year over year and 30.9% quarter over quarter. And as for digital entertainment, that's up 24.3% year over year and 3.7% quarter over quarter. Looking at gross profit, operating income, and net loss, you can see here major improvements quarter over quarter, but definitely year over year. And so the cash position has increased from $9 billion to now $9.9 billion quarter over quarter, and year over year we went from $8.5 billion to $9.9 billion. Now, as for adjusted EBITDA, here you can clearly see, right? Q3 2023, what was dragging this down is basically the e-commerce side of things. And now that the e-commerce side of things is basically adjusted EBITDA positive, well, you're seeing the profitability of the business in full effect. As for Shopee, they can tell us here a little bit more. So Brazil achieved positive adjusted EBITDA for the first time. Average monthly active buyers grew by 40% year over year. In Q3, ad take rate improved by over 30 basis points year over year. Ad paying revenue per seller rose over 25% year over year. Then as for price competitiveness, Shopee is the highest scoring platform for good product prices in both Asia and Brazil. So definitely Shopee doing everything it should be doing. As for C Money, we can clearly see here that loan principal outstanding has grown each and every quarter, year over year, and NPL is actually coming down, right? We've been at 1.4% for a while, but then went from 1.3 and now 1.2. If we look at the loan principal outstanding, that has grown 14.8% from 3Q to 4 in 2023, then 6.4% to Q1, then another 6% to Q2, and now we're seeing a 31% acceleration here quarter over quarter. I do have to say that writing with a mouse is extremely difficult. As for GAAP revenue and adjusted EBITDA, here as well, growth quarter over quarter and year on year for GAAP revenue. So we went from 5.8% quarter over quarter growth to then 5.7% to then 3.9%, and now solid reacceleration, 18.5% quarter over quarter growth, which adjusted EBITDA we first dropped 10%, then we remained flat, and then we started to grow back 10.7% from Q1 to Q2, followed by 14.1% Q2 to Q3. Looking at Garena, or the digital entertainment side of things, so they said the following. They maintain daily active users above 100 million, representing 25% year-over-year growth. They're expanding to new regions like North Africa with both in-game campaigns and out-of-game events. Free Fire was the most downloaded mobile game globally in Q3. The number of new users who downloaded and played Free Fire was up 25%. And as I said at the start, given the strength of Free Fire year-to-date performance, we now expect its full year 2024 bookings to grow over 30%. Now, with regards to that, there is one negative thing is that, well, one, quarterly paying user ratio is down quarter over quarter. It's up year over year, down quarter over quarter. Quarterly active users is also down quarter over quarter, but up year over year. As for ARPU, we're basically flat year on year. Then looking at bookings, GAAP revenue, adjusted EBITDA, and adjusted EBITDA as a percentage of bookings, that has basically, the last one is basically flat already, flat-ish for the last couple of quarters. All the rest has gone up. Now doing a quick reverse DCF here for Sea Limited, of course, the stock price is a bit higher now. It's at 103% or so. But if we look at free cash flow trailing 12 months, right now it's a bit higher than that. But if we look at what's expected to happen for Q4 as well, this is basically the number that we're getting. You have here the terminal growth rate of 4.37%, then the discount rate of 8.41%. You basically take these two together, terminal growth rate plus implied equity risk premium, and you get this number. Plus, I also included here a 3% dilution for the next 10 years. Yes, of course, it can be a little bit higher than that at first, but I took 3 for the next 10 years. And so to justify today's price before the pre-market action, it will have to grow 19.4% free cash flow for the next 10 years. If we want to look at what is happening pre-market, so closer to $102, $103, it will have to grow 20%. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think this is feasible? Do you think it's way too high? Of course, we know that, well, right now, this number, basically I took it from the 10-year bond. So yeah, it's quite higher right now than I think a month or so ago. We're closer to 3.76%. So things can change quite quickly when you do these types of things, but this is basically what I want to show you. Looking at the stock right now on the weekly, we can see that the stock did rebound on that 50-day moving average, and we did also close yesterday above the 20-day one. Seems like we're going to go back up to, well, a place we have not been since April of 2022. RSI is probably going to be a little bit overbought, but we've seen plenty of stocks being overbought for a long period of time. Plus, it does seem like the market keeps going up and up and up these days. So overall, solid quarter by Sea Limited, solid performance this year by the stock as well. I don't own this stock, but it's nice to see that they did turn the ship around. Plus, they're becoming more and more profitable and they can continue to grow. Because remember, at first they said, look, we're going to become a little bit more profitable right now, so don't expect that much growth. And then they reached profitability or a point where they were quite comfortable. Then growth reaccelerated, and now we can clearly see that the profitability side of the business is quite safe and they can continue to grow more aggressively. So that's great to see. Of course, do share your thoughts down in great to see. Good one. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one.